Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for our first Takrir Dragonstorm edition of Budget Magic, and of course, we're playing some Rhinos. We're heading to Standard to play some Abzan Felothar Skirmish Rhino aggro, and I am super hyped about this deck. This deck, not only does it look super fun, and it plays some of my favorite cards from Takrir Dragonstorm, it's also super cheap to put together. It's around $100 in paper. On MTG Arena, the only non-land rare you need is Felothar, so 4 non-land rares, although if you don't have the standard mana base, it's going to cost a bit more because you really need the rare lands to have any chance of making the 3-color mana work, so it's like 20 some rares altogether, but that's mostly because you just need a bunch of the fast lands and the pain lands, but if you have those, it's super cheap to put together. So let's talk about this deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, and see the deck in action. So this deck, it's really built around 2 Abzan cards from the set that I love, in Felothar Dawn of the Abzan, and Skirmish Rhino. So Skirmish Rhino, you know this one, it's a mini Siege Rhino, 3 mana 3/4 Trampler. When it enters, each opponent loses 2 life, we gain 2 life, so just a really solid mid-range threat, and our deck is built so we might be able to reuse its ETB a few times. We also have Felothar Dawn of the Abzan, a 3 mana 3/3 trampling legend that when it enters or attacks, we can sack a non-land permanent, and when we do, we put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. So what are we trying to do with this deck? Well, first off, all of our interaction is permanent, so we have nowhere to run for removal. We have Momentum Break for removal. We have Hopeless Nightmare for some damage and some discard, more interaction. So the idea is in the early turns of the game, we can play these cards, kill our opponent's stuff, make our opponent discard, and then they just sit out, and when we play Felothar or attack with Felothar, we can sacrifice them to grow our entire team. And when Felothar does this, it actually feels kind of busted. If we have 2 or 3 creatures in a Felothar just adds a huge amount of power to the battlefield each turn. So we also have just a bunch of cheap sackable resilient bodies. Nesting Bot, Novice Inspector, Infestation Sage. These give us early bodies that can grow from Felothar's counters. It also gives us sackable bodies. If we don't have a Hopeless Nightmare or nowhere to run to sacrifice, we can always sack an Infestation Sage because we're going to get an Insect anyway. We can sack a Nesting Bot because we're going to get a Servo anyway. So that's kind of part 1 of the deck. Part 2 of the deck, since we have all this permanent removal, we want to be able to reuse it. So we have Sunpetal Kirid and Nurturing Pixie that let us pick up our own permanents. These cards let us reuse our removal. They also give us flying bodies that work with Felothar, but they also let us pick up our Skirmish Rhino. So we can play Skirmish Rhino, drain you, and then basically do the old standard trick. If you remember Siege Rhino from forever ago, you could like play it and like blink it with a Restoration Angel and drain your opponent again, do some shenanigans like that. So this is kind of our 2025 edition of that. We can play a Skirmish Rhino and then sudden puddle carrying it back to our hand in response to a removal spell or something, play it again to drain you even more. So that's the plan of the deck. Essentially, we're trying to be super aggressive. We're growing our team with counters. We're Rhinoing for lethal. So let's jump into some games and see if Abzan Felothar Rhino action can actually keep up in our new standard format. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. Budget magic time. It is Takrir Dragonstorm time. And of course, we are starting with some Rhino action. We're playing some Abzan Felothar aggro, I guess. Deck only costs like $100 though, which is sweet. Well, let's get down Novice Inspector. That sounds pretty good, except we don't have any green mana yet. And eventually, we are going to need a little bit of green mana, like now maybe, to play this Felothar. See what our opponent's up to. Inspiring Vantage and Mystic Monastery. Well, let's crack this clue, see if we can find green mana. A lot of momentum breaks, a lot of Felothars. All right. I mean, interestingly, one of the concerns I say with these 3-color decks in our new standard format is the mana's going to be a little clunky compared to 2-color decks. Doubly so if you're trying to be aggro, which we are, because you can't really play the Mystic Monastery stuff too much if you're trying to be aggro. Thinking. Third Path Iconoclast. All right, well, we will nowhere to run that. We'd still like to hit this green mana for Felothar so we can sack the nowhere to run. Oh, Skirmish Rhino, okay. Skirmish Rhino, good card. Not castable at the moment. Ooh, Tygum. Tygum's kind of frightening. All right, Zephyr Sentinel is spell number 2. Gonna go to exile, and they get another one, and picks up the Tygum. Well, all right, we get an Infestation Sage, which at least we can cast. Momentum Break. We are not an Orzhov deck. We might look like an Orzhov deck at the moment, but we are not actually an Orzhov deck. It didn't hit you. It'll be interesting. I feel like Taigum's a powerful card. The only thing is, it feels kind of slow for Standard. It is a cute synergy, though. I guess you play it and then play the thing to bounce it as your second spell, and you get a copy. Wow, opponent's running it back. Really wants to suspend these Zephyr Sentinels. Sure. Oh my god, it's green mana. It is green mana. Okay, it's tapped green mana, but it is green mana. Well, more momentum breaking. Again, we're still doing okay for being very mana screwed this game. We're still kind of doing okay, because now we can get down Skirmish Rhino or Felothar in some order. Eventually, we're going to have to deal with these Zephyr Sentinels, but... Oh, opponent. Taigum. And Sleight of Hand is spell number 2 this time. Sure. Kind of want to draw another untap land, and then we can potentially kill Taigum and play Felothar Skirmish Rhino. Novice Inspector. Well, I guess that also works. So let's play the Novice Inspector. Make a clue. Play Felothar. This might get countered, actually, but play Felothar. Who resolves? Okay, we will sack the Nowhere to Run. Counter up the crew, and do a little attacking. Opponent. All right, you're going to torch the Infestation Sage, sure. Drop to 12. Speed is at the max. Also, our Momentum Break sack for 4 mana now if we need to do that. Opponent. All right, Legend Rules their Taigum. And up. So they just wanted the second spell. Okay, I see. I see. Well, I mean, our opponent has a lot of value suspended. Starting next turn, they're going to be getting things off of suspend every single turn. The good news for us is we're actually kind of dealing a lot of damage now. Opponent, looking at the Felothar. Bruce Tarl, okay. Well, we will play a Skirmish Rhino. Drain you a bit. Rhino's back. Novice Inspector. And attack. Sack a clue, counter up the team, and that's kind of a lot of damage. Opponent, Bruce Tarl, gonna block, drop to 2, we're a Rhino away. Opponent, the value's coming off suspend, but it is in time. All right, spell number 1, Zephyr Sentinel, coming off of suspend. It has haste because everything coming off suspend has haste. Opponent, Zephyr Sentinel, are we bouncing? No. We know they have this Sage of this guy that they can play to make 2 copies. But you know what has trample? You know what has trample? That would be a Skirmish Rhino. I don't think they can overcome the trample. I don't think they can overcome. We can Nowhere to Run. Kill a 2/3. And opponent scoops it up. And that was pretty impressive because we were missing green mana for like half that game. And in the end, Skirmish Rhino. Oh, I'm so glad. I know it's not literal Siege Rhino, but the fact that it's 3 mana instead of 4 mana is a meaningful upside. It is so sweet to have Siege Rhino back, and that felt pretty smooth. Like, well, maybe smooth is the wrong word, because we were mana screwed for half the game, or color screwed, but the deck functioned pretty well. Let's keep doing that. Up against Mardu Token. All right, let's go Mardu Token. Sure, this game doesn't have any payoffs, but our colors are good. We have one of each fast land, which I guess is kind of perfect. We will lead on a Concealed Courtyard and Novice Inspector. Go. See if our opponent actually is playing Mardu, perhaps. Hopeless Nightmare. You're one of those, eh? We have that in our deck too, so I guess I can't say too much. You know what? Let's just discard the Momentum Break. Brushland. Well, Blooming Marsh. And hit you for 1. And Infestation Sage. And also Infestation Sage. Man, if we can draw Felothar to start growing the boys, this hand could actually pop off. Opponent. Nurturing Pixie to pick up the Hopeless Nightmare. Yep. And replays the land and replays the Hopeless Nightmare. Well, we will discard a Brushland. All right, not a Felothar, but Skirmish Rhino is a card. It's a body we can play. Drains our opponent. We can't really attack through the Nurturing Pixie yet, which is awkward. Opponent. Gonna bobble down the Novice Inspector. Sure. And more Hopeless Nightmares. Sure. And more Hopeless. Good lord. So much Nightmare. Mineral land. Well, go to combat again and hit you. Bound it down to 9. Play the brush land past the turn. We are going to sack this clue on our opponent's end step. We really would like to draw a bit of... Wow, opponent is staying aggro. Gets and hits us down to 10. And Sun Petal Kieran. Yep. I'm going to pick up a Hopeless Nightmare. Sure. And plays a Novice. All right, wants more blockers. Plays a Novice Inspector. So it's going to be close. It's going to be close. But we will crack the clue. Can we draw some action, please? No. Hit ya. Pass the turn. We need to hold on to the land to discard to the Hopeless Nightmare number 75. We're just going to take it. We're going to try to win. Down to 6. There's the Hopeless Nightmare. Down to 4. I mean, they literally cannot have enough Hopeless Nightmares to burn us out here, right? Opponent plays a land while we will Sun Petal Kieran. Pick up Infestation. Oh, it's up to? All right, we will submit 0. Untap. Draw another Kieran. Well, go to combat. Get in. Hit ya. Do we get him? Do we get him? Opponent blocks, and I think that's 5. I think that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rhino! Oh my goodness. 5 Hopeless Nightmares. Didn't matter in Rhino world. Okay. I mean, that was pretty impressive. We're up against the deck that just strips your hand. That was literally 5 Hopeless Nightmares we faced out. And Skirmish Rhino came through. I mean, I know it's early, but did we break it? I couldn't resist, but let's keep doing that. You know what? I think we just mulligan. Well, all right. Go Skirmish Rhino. All right, let's see how good Skirmish Rhino is. Kinseal Courtyard go. Would have been nice if we had stuff to do earlier, but still, I mean, double Rhino. Opponent, Lush Portico. Probably, maybe Domain. Well, land, goo. Rhinos versus the world. Fabled Pissange for our opponent. Well, Caves of Koilos and Rhino number 1. Skirmish Rhino. Drain ya. Of course. Of course this is what we were playing, opponent. I imagine this is the first thing everyone expected me to do. And I did it. Well, Skirmish Rhino. Down to 18. Island, eh? Hit ya. Down to 15. Play the land. Rhino part 2, I guess. There's one thing I remember from original Con Standard. It's the second Rhino that really gets you. That's the one that really hurts. You can survive the first one, but the second one. Found it. Wow, they are Domain. Leyline Biting on Skirmish Rhino. All right, I don't know how this goes. I imagine Domain is probably going to be a tough matchup, especially with this draw, because we did not get off to an especially fast start this game. Opponent, land, pass it. Well, okay. We didn't get off to a fast start, but we are drawing lots of Rhinos. Rhino, part 3. Opponent down to 10. Land. Breaching. Oh, this might be a silly combo deck. Breaching Dragonstorm into a Leyline Binding. All right, so apparently not exactly a combo deck. Well, Hopeless Nightmare ya, down to 8. Man, this is going to be close. Rhino ya to 5. Can we find a way to close it out? Opponent. Invasion of Alara. Oh, okay, so it is a combo deck. They just are fizzling on their combo, so they should win now, I believe. Opponent. Invasion of Alara. Gonna get the Bramble Familiar. Bramble Familiar. Gonna mill some cards. I think that does it if they get Elish Norn. Opponent gets an Elish Norn. Well, we can crack the clue, but I don't think we can realistically win at this point. Infestation Sage. Sun Petal Kieran. Well, yeah, because like none of our stuff triggers, so none of our removal can kill the Elish Norn. So I'm pretty sure that that's just game at this point. The only reason we haven't scooped is we can flash in Sun... Oh boy, they're going again. Bound it. Breaching Dragonstorm. This is gonna hit a Twin Maw Stormbrood. So this seems like a really fun early access day deck that our opponent's on. It also seems like a deck that will die to mice a lot. Opponent plays all their stuff up to 15. Not going to attack. Okay. Hopeless Nightmare. And we will scoop it up. All right. Well, not fast enough. 3 Rhinos, but not fast enough to beat the Domain combo deck. All right, budget magic. It is Takrir Dragonstorm time, and we are, of course, playing some Rhinos. We're playing some Abzan Felothar Aggro. Ooh, mono red. Oh, it's a dragon deck. Invasion of Takrir. All right, sure. Opponent gonna kill the Novice Inspector. Well, we will Llanowar Waste and Hopeless Nightmare, I guess. Felothar is definitely better if we have more bodies on the battlefield, but it still grows itself, and like sacking a Hopeless Nightmare lets us scry to find some bodies, so it's still not bad. Opponent trying to figure out what to discard. Oh boy, Elder Dragon War. All right, opponent land. Passes. Well, we'll play the land and get down Felothar. And sack the Hopeless Nightmare. Do a little scrying. All right, let's Momentum Break bottom, Hopeless Nightmare top, I think. Opponent, Molten Exhale, be holding a Terror of the Peaks. Okay. I mean, the Momentum Break should be able to take care of that once it comes down. Land on Dragon. Well, we will play the land. Hopeless Nightmare, make you discard. And run it back, Felothar. We've dealt so much damage to ourselves. Sack the Hopeless Nightmare. Do a little scrying. Keep them both. I think we want the Rhino first. Keep them both. I hope it's terror time, because we have a nice answer to the terror. Dragon Lord Servant. Well, okay. We need to Momentum Break that, unfortunately. Get rid of the Servant. And, yeah, I mean, get in with Felothar. Sack Momentum Break. Grow it. We're kind of like a Commander Voltron deck at the moment. Pass the turn. Maybe keeping the second Felothar was not correct. Opponent. Magmatic Hellkite. Ooh, okay. That is going to make us shuffle. Okay, let's float the mana. Shuffle away the Felothar. Plains. Get a Plains. And then we'll crack the clue. All right, another land. Another Rhino. Yeah, let's Momentum Break. Get rid of the Hellkite. Get in with Felothar. Opponent gives us a GG's. And yeah, I mean, at this point, I think why our opponent scooped there is the removal is Molten Exhale. So the Felothar is big enough that they can't kill it. And you might be thinking, well, what if they go land and then Terror the Peaks? Well, we have built the Abyss, where our opponent's going to have to jump block this every turn. And eventually it's going to get there. Plus, they don't even know, but 2 Rhinos are about to come. Well, that went pretty well. That went pretty well against the Dragons. Not bad. Sweet. Playing some Abzan Aggro, I would say. Abzan Rhino? Abzan Felothar? Opponent. Tap land. Well, let's play the Plains. Actually, no. Let's play the Caves of Koilos. Let's get in with a Nesting Bot. Hit ya. Increase our speed. Get down an Infestation Sage. Get down a Novice Inspector. Pass the turn. It is nice that we have multiple things that leave behind bodies if they die. A little bit of help against sweepers. Opponent grabs a Forest. Well, play the land. Let's play the Novice Inspector. Let's play the Infestation Sage. It's a lot of 1-drops. That's a lot of 1-drops, man. Can you imagine how good Felothar would be if we could draw Encroaching Dragonstorm? Opponent getting their ramp on. Gonna be close. Gonna be close. Opponent grabs a couple lands. We draw a useless land. Well, we will get in and hit you for 5. Oh, we could have gotten an extra damage with Hopeless Nightmare. Oops. Should have played that pre-combat. Well, Hopeless Nightmare. Hit you, because it would have grown the Nesting Bot. If we lose by 1 damage, that is the reason why. And we will see what big dragon is coming. Opponent discards a Torch to the tower. We play a land and pass the turn. Oh, we need a payoff. Dragon back assault. Pretty good here since it's going to sweep our board. We will sack a clue. We do get back a couple of things. Oh, no, more lands. More lands. Not the best time for more lands. And there's, wow, a fetch land to make 2 4/4s. And picks up Encroaching Dragonstorm. We draw even more lands, and I think the Dragon deck may have stabilized. Nowhere to run. Not great. Yeah, I think that just does it. We had all the 1-drops. We just never found a Felothar or anything to close out the game this time. Dragon back has all seemed very good there. I mean, it's bad as a sweeper, but the fact that you can make a ton of... all right, sure. Yeah, you did it. You did the thing. Budget magic time. We are playing some Abzan Aggro in New Standard, and all right, we got a Felothar this time. We actually have a bit of a payoff, which is nice. I mean, this hand looks fine. Would be nice if we could draw some more non-Felothar creatures at some point, but well, let's Conceal Courtyard, Infestation Sage, go. All right, no more lands. No more lands. Let's draw action. Pote it. Swamp. Oh boy. Some sort of 5-color pile. Well, we will get in for 1. Really would love our opponent to play a creature that we could Nowhere to Run. Think Twice. I have not seen that card since 2010. Pote it, land. This might be some sort of control deck, I assume. Pote it. Well, we're gonna play a Nowhere to Run. Wow, that's a lot of Nowhere to Runs. Well, let's play a Felothar. Not super confident it's gonna resolve, but we're gonna try. All right, Felothar. Sack the Nowhere to Run. And Anoint with Affliction to take down the Felothar. Well, get him with the Infestation Sage. Hit you down to 17. And passing, we draw Momentum Break. What a weird matchup for a deck. We have all these removal enchantments that are kind of awkward if our opponent's just not going to play creatures. Opponent. Gonna draw some... this is definitely full-on Sultai control. If you're playing Mystical Teachings, you are as controlling as control gets. Mind Splicer Apparatus. Well, let's play Nowhere to Run, since our opponent doesn't believe in playing creatures. Well, we get it. Okay, Infestation Sage. And a Felothar. We're trying, but I don't think we're winning. I think it's gonna be a little slow here. Grow the Dorks, hit you for 3, pote it out of 12. Mind Splice, take it up, and this is where I imagine it goes very badly. Our opponent's got 1,000,000 cards, 1,000,000 mana, a Mind Splicer Apparatus. Yeah. And opponent going to Time Stop on our upkeep, sure. Opponent untaps, takes up their Mind Splicer Apparatus. And casts another Rakshasha's Barton, sure. An awkward matchup to draw every Nowhere to Run in Momentum Break. The cards we are drawing are not the cards we want to draw in this specific matchup. There are many matchups where those are our best cards, but not against creature-free Sultai Mystical Teachings Mind Splicer Apparatus control. That is not the matchup for every Nowhere to Run in Momentum Break. Cast card draw spell, eventually passes. Well, we will cast a Hopeless Nightmare. How do we feel about that, opponent? Resolves. I mean, technically we have a very scary, even lethal, potentially board. In practice, I don't actually think it's gonna work. Well, we will go to combat, we will attack. We will sack a Hopeless Nightmare. We get to put counters on the team. All right, opponent, what removal do... Well, we definitely do not want 2 lands. What removal do you got? What removal do you got? Well, think twice. Okay, wait, do they actually not have the removal? Think twice to draw a card. Well, we'll sack the smaller Sage. This does keep our opponent alive. They go to 1 now. Hit you to 1. Opponent takes up the mind. Wow, so close. Felothar deals some serious damage. Like, Felothar is very impressive. Not convinced that we're going to win this. So they can Mystical Teachings for 3. Like, that's our opponent's floor, is they can Mystical Teachings into something. Can only get an instant, or a card with flash, which means they can't just get, like, a deadly cover up here, at least. They can get Time Stop, though, and just keep doing that forever. Opponent going to get the Time Stop, pass, and on our upkeep, cast the Time Stop, sure. Pass the turn. Well, I mean, that is 2 Time Stops in exile. Death begets life. Blows up the board, although we do get a 1/1 insect, which it's not going to get there, but it does represent lethal, technically. You know what would be sweet is top decking a Rhino that just wins this game, but instead, it's going to be Time Stop number 45. Yep. Well, we will pass the turn. So this is basically a infinite turn deck, I guess I would say. It's getting close to concession time. It's very close. This deck, so the deck our opponent's playing, they're not really trying to win. They're trying to gain control of the game. So if you're thinking, well, why would you scoop? when your opponent's at 1 and you're at 17? The answer is our opponent's deck isn't about dealing damage. Our opponent's deck is about putting a stranglehold on the game to such an extent that there's no way you can possibly win. And opponent has a go for the throat now, sure. And we will call that good enough. All right, budget magic time. We are playing some Abzan, Felothar, Rhino, Aggro. Ooh, Mardu, eh? All right, opponent's being aggro too. Well, play the land and get down the Novice Inspector, which actually a pretty good blocker against the Stadium Headliner. Opponent Swamp and Voice of Victory. Yeah, we probably just need to kill that, right? Yeah, we can't cast spells during our opponent's turn. Yeah, so I guess we have to know where to run now to get rid of the Voice of Victory. These nowhere to run should be pretty decent. Zergo would be annoying. Impact Tremors, okay. That is scary in the future. Well, play the land, and no attacks. Let's pass the turn. Bitter Triumph. All right, so we will Sun Petal Kieran. Pick up the Inspector. Opponent can get in, that's fine. Get in, hit us for 3. And no blocks. Down to 17. More lands. Well, get in, hit ya. And I think we just play the nowhere to run. Get rid of the Headliner. Play the Novice Inspector again. Get down a Llanowar Ways. Go. A punishing Nomad Outpost. That is the trouble with the tap lands. Ooh, Hopeless Nightmare. Man, I want a Felothar, though. Found it. Takes the beats to 12. We will Hopeless Nightmare ya. Oh, there goes a Zergo. Yeah, let's just pass. Mardu Siegebreaker. Okay, so we will Sun Petal Kieran. Pick up nowhere to run. Oh, but we can't cast it. That's awkward. All right. Sack the clue. Oh, yeah, that was a punt. That was what we call a punt in the biz. Down to 15. Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 14, we're just gonna take it to 9. We're gonna go to 9. Felothar is not quite lethal, but it's pretty good. Wait, actually, could it be lethal? Oh, we don't have enough black mana. So this is 3/6. Actually, wait, is this lethal? So if we play Felothar, so we can play Felothar, sack nowhere to run, hit ya for 8, and then Pixie the Hopeless Nightmare? Oh boy. Okay, that was close, but we got there. Wow. Felothar! Felothar's so good. Felothar's so good. And opponent Xaxes. That was close. That was a super close game. The Siegebreaker. Oh man. I know there was a little funny. There's all the lands, this mana base. It's gonna take an adjustment getting into this 3-color standard where you can't just assume that your mana is gonna be good and that you're gonna have the colors when you need them. That's been the biggest pitch. So my experience with this 3-color mana base, and one of my big fears for Takrir Dragonstorm Standard was, can you build 3-color mana bases for aggro decks that are going to be good enough? I think so far, at least with this deck, it has felt like the answer has been yes. I feel like we've been able to build a 3-color mana base that is good enough to build a functional deck. That said, we do have some weird times when, like, casting our spells hasn't been a problem in general. Sure, you're going to get mana screwed sometimes. That's magic. That's just going to happen. But in general, casting our spells haven't been a problem. But there have been times where we want to, like, cast something and pick something up and cast it again. And we're like, oh, we don't have enough black or we don't have enough white or whatever. So that's going to happen on occasion. But it seems like so far that the 3-color mana base, very painful. My God, we're taking like 8 damage a game off our mana base, but very painful, but in general functional. Ooh, okay. We need a green source. That's Llanowar Elves. Okay. Well, land and nesting bot go. About it, land. We might get run over if this is. Oh, Tender Wild Guide. Okay. Oh no. Well, play another nesting bot. Actually, no. Let's just play a nurturing pixie. Pick up the nesting bot. Replay the nesting bot. Okay, green source. Right after I just gave this speech about how 3-color mana is actually not that bad. It's like the magic gods were listening. Oh, the 3-color mana is fine. Don't worry about it. proceeds to not draw green mana. Found it. Oh god. Is this an Ugin deck? Oh boy. Alright, well, Hopeless Nightmare. I guess make you discard, get a little speed, play another nesting bot. We have all of our cool cards in hand and we can't cast them. Found it. Gonna grow the Wild Guide, untaps. Land. Something scary is about to happen. Oh boy. Alright. Speaking of scary, Nisa makes an 8/8. Oh, it's still not green mana. Yeah, we're actually gonna. I mean, we can hit this from one, they make another 8/8. Yeah, you actually got it. All right. I may have spoken too soon about the possibility of the 3-color mana bases. Why, Magic Gods? Why? I was trying to be so nice. All right, that was unfortunate timing, but still, don't let that game ruin it. The 3-color mana actually, it's still functional, despite. Oh, that was just horrible timing. Despite the horrible timing, as we died with all of our good green cards in hand. And I mean, not the strongest Tron of all time, but we do have a Tron, Novice Inspector. It's like having 3 of a kind with 2s or something. Like, it's still 3 of a kind, but you know, it's also beatable. Well, Novice Inspector, go. Rakdos, and a Mox Jasper, preparing for the future. Well, let's play the land and play even more Inspectors. So what we're probably going to do is, so this turn is Inspector, we waste a mana. Next turn we can play Rhino. And then if we don't draw anything else the following turn, we can double Skirmish Rhino. What is this? When it enters, each opponent loses 2, you gain 2, surveil 2. And then when a dragon enters, you get it back. Well, play the land. Get down the Skirmish Rhino. And hit you. Down to 17, bastard. Opponent land, and the Iron Crag trying to ramp into some dragons, and another Corroding Dragonstorm. I mean, once the dragons start coming, it's gonna kind of hurt. Could really use a payoff. Nurturing Pixie, eh? Well, okay. So we only have 1 white source. See, this is another example of 3-color mana base. I want to, like, attack, and then pick up the Rhino, and replay the Rhino. But we can't actually do that because we only have 1 white source. So let's crack a clue. Well, there's more white sources, I guess. Play the Novice Inspector. I mean, we were asking for a white source. I'm very scared that we're about to die to a big dragon, picking up all these Corroding Dragonstorms, opponent land, and Magmatic Alki. All right, there's a big dragon. We're gonna pick up all the Corroding Dragonstorms, and we do not currently have a removal spell. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Picks him up, picks him up. The Mox is on. Back comes a Corroding Dragonstorm. Well, maybe dragons are bigger than rhinos. Found it. Mill. Oh, no, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. All right, crack this clue. For the love of God. Can we hit something? Apparently no. Pass the turn. Found it. Sarkin Dragon Ascendant. Going to reveal a dragon and make a clue. And there's the Decadent Dragon. Gonna trigger. Well, I mean, we're gonna take it, but I do not feel good about this, especially with all this damage in hand. Well, we can flash in this Kieran, but I mean, what do we pick up the clue to just try to draw a card? We need to draw like multiple removal spells. Pick up the clue, draw a card. Ugh, Pixie. And nowhere to run. Is that anywhere near enough? So we can cast the Nowhere to Run. Found it. Gonna block the Rhino. All right. I'll play the Pixie. Pick up the Nowhere to Run. Kill the dragon. We're trying. We're trying. Play another land, pass the turn. About it. Dabs. I think we're actually just gonna lose to double Corroding Dragonstorm. Like, maybe that card's actually better than I thought. I figured this was kind of a limited card, but it has been super impressive this game where our opponents just like literally burned us out of the game with this enchantment. Like that is it. That is the entire game is just us losing to that. We're down to 3. which means the next dragon kills us. Infestation Sage. Well, go attack. So we have to just hope our opponent doesn't have a dragon once they just surveilled 5 million. Okay. Well, play the Infestation Sage. Play the Pixie. Pick up the Nowhere to Run. Caustic Exhale. Okay, gonna kill the Pixie. I mean, this still doesn't straight up win our opponent the game. Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. That straight up wins our opponent the game next turn. So I guess that does win our opponent the game because we can't win the game this turn, I don't think. Attacks. Well, I mean, we will play the Nowhere to Run. Shrink the Dragon. Hey, opponent, gonna tutor up a dragon. Oh, they might be able to get an Omen Dragon that they can use right now to do something. So the one way we could win would be Felothar. If we top deck Felothar to sack the Nowhere to Run, opponent gets a Scavenger Regent. Oh, which actually just... Ah! Yes! Oh my god, what a draw. Oh my god, what a draw. Felothar. Sack the Nowhere to Run. Oh my god. Did we win this game? Did Felothar win us this game? What? Miracles! Miracle draw! My goodness. I had pretty much given up on that one. I mean, we said it. The one card that could get there is our rare. It's our rare. This is a card we're building around, this Felothar. Felothar, I think, is actually legit good. Seems like an actually legit good card. Also, shout out to Corroding Dragonstorm, which maybe that's a card. Our opponent's deck looks super sweet. Not sure about Iron Crag, but I guess you just got to get to your big dragon somehow. But that was pretty sweet. That was an amazing top deck, and our opponent's deck looked cool too. That's one of the best parts of early access, is you get to see other people doing cool things. I'm kind of surprised. Couldn't our opponent have used this during their turn? 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like they could have wrapped their board. I'm not sure why they didn't. Exude Toxin, but we're not going to complain. What a win. Sweet. So what do we learn this week about our Abzan Felothar Skirmish Rhino aggro deck for Takrir Dragonstorm Standard? Record-wise, it was early access day, right around a 50% win rate. We got to see some really good matchups for the deck in really interesting games. We also got to see, like, the Infinite Turn deck. We got absolutely smacked by that deck. But such is life on early access day. On early access day, I don't really pay too much attention to the record. Obviously, if you win every match or lose every match, you're probably going to be like, okay, something's going on here. But in general, people are trying new things. It's not really representative of the meta. So I really want to think about how the deck feels. Like, how did it play? And I gotta say, Skirmish Rhino actually felt really good. Like, its body's good, it gets in damage, its ETB is good, and Felothar, I think this might actually be a sleeper from this set. We got to see Felothar be kind of absurd in this deck. Probably the best example was that last game where it was looking really grim. Dragons had us down to like 2 life, we were about to die, they had all this dragons, they had lethal for sure, and we were able to Felothar to get just enough damage to get in lethal by top decking it. So Felothar, I think, is actually like kind of absurd and like a really, really good card that you should pay more attention to. The rest of the deck, it felt solid. Like, we know that the blinkable bounceable removal's pretty good because we've seen like the Esper self-bounce decks do it. Sun Petal Kieran feels really solid, like a nurturing pixie. All of our 1-drops were fine. The other thing I was really wondering about with this deck was, can the mana support it? If you listen to our podcast like a week or two ago, we were talking about our concerns for Takrir Dragonstorm Standard and have these 3 color decks could really keep up in the current meta with the current mana bases. Like, is the 3 color mana good enough for aggro decks in Standard? And I gotta say, the mana, it was fine. Like, the mana's not great by any stretch, but it wasn't bad. In general, I would say it was pretty functional. Although, as we kind of talked about throughout the video, we did have some games where we were color screwed, or even worse, well, not worse, getting color screwed the worst, but we also had some games where it wasn't as obvious how the mana was clunky, but when you look at the actual lines where we wanted to like play a pixie to pick up a Rhino and then replay the Rhino, and we find out, oh, we're like short on white mana or something. So we did have some like clunkiness with the mana around the edges. I will say, in general, though, it was smooth enough. Is it smooth enough if you're facing down mice on turn 3? That's another question. But at least for today, it was smooth enough we could cast all of our spells most of the time. So maybe the mana is going to end up being good enough after all. But I will say, Skirmish Rhino's awesome, Felothar awesome, Takrir Dragonstorm's awesome, and that's been our Budget Magic for today. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our first look at Takrir Dragonstorm Standard, and I'll be back next week with more Takrir Dragonstorm. So until then, be good, everyone. Thanks for hanging out, and I will talk to you soon.